the last budget you have a jam, Janadhan Aadhar mobile, and it realized that, Janadhan as a means of opening bank accounts in a large scale, Aadhar being used as an identifier or an identification document for opening these accounts, and mobile becoming a very strong means of communicating and transacting. That really is a very, very empowering trinity. And that's what was announced in the last economic survey and the budget. So what has happened is till now, because everything was bricks and mortar, everything was driven by persons, and or even the ATM machines and ATM things which have their costs, it was not possible to have a low cost banking which could become sustainable. Always banks looked at it as their social responsibility and liability. People did not look at it as something where money could be made. And obviously, if money cannot be made by a bank in a sustainable manner, that's not worthwhile, because ultimately at some point of time, charity can go up to this far and not further. So it could have not worked. So therefore, I think it is the appropriate time that the technology has come which actually has the capability of scaling up the banking transactions, not only scaling them up, but also making them very, very cost effective and very cheap. This is what has happened. And why it has happened? What are the factors which have happened? One is ubiquitous connectivity, which means mobile and mobile banking. You spoke about the wallets and other instruments which are there. Secondly, also the identity, the digital identity. So basically what happens is that in any transaction, in any digital transaction, if there are two banks involved or two financial it's a transaction in a single bank, then there are only two stakeholders. One is the guy who is transacting, another is the bank. And what does a transaction involve? A transaction involves first proving your identity, and once the stakeholders, which is the bank, is satisfied that you are the right person, then they will enable you to do the transaction, whether it is a peer-to-peer transfer, whether it's a balance inquiry, whether it is a cash withdrawal, or whether it's a deposit. So these things can happen. Similarly, if you are doing transaction in an assisted mode, which means there is a business correspondent who is doing the transaction, there also you do the same thing, except that the cash deposit and withdrawal takes place physically to that person through the business correspondent. So therefore, it is eminently possible today to do a banking business in a very sustainable manner, in a very low cost manner.